spotlight shines in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and it shines on Minnesota sophomore goaltending marvel Alex Kangas tonight, making his 41st consecutive start in what arguably is a very pivotal game for the Golden Gophers, who last night suffered a stinging defeat at the hands of the Fighting Sioux in one of their worst games in a long time. They now need to reverse course completely to avoid a weekend sweep against the unranked North Dakota Fighting Sioux. In Minnesota's 6-3 loss, there were a couple of three-point performances last night. One by Jason Gregoire, who scored 2 goals, including the game winner against Minnesota. A 3-point scorer for Minnesota was Ryan Stoa. A questionable starter has now been scratched from tonight's lineup because of an ankle injury. That was a last-minute game-time decision. That will make that gap between Minnesota and North Dakota in the standings ever the closer. Tough news for the Gophers to swallow with Doug Woog. I'm Frank Mazzocco. Having that captain out of the lineup, Doug, is going to be tough news.
Well, you can describe him as your best player, your most valuable player, most effective player. I just think he's the best. He gives you character. He can shoot the puck. He's a strong guy in the corners, and he has gone through this thing. He'll be dearly missed tonight.
He fought the decision he wanted to play, but the coaching staff overruled him to err on the side of safety. We now turn our attention back to Alex Kangas, who has been a marvel for the last 52 weeks. That's when he grabbed the goaltending reins for the Golden Gophers. There are his career numbers. Last year, Doug, he set school records for goals against average and saves percentage.
He's been remarkable. He's a marvel in goal. He's going to have to be here again tonight. He got tested last night. Didn't quite make the whole test, but played pretty well. Very key figure today and the rest of the season.
He's been a dream for fans to watch, and he tells us about his dream.
It's definitely a dream come true for me. Growing up as a little kid in Minnesota, obviously, me and my little brother play shinny hockey while the Gopher games are on TV on Friday and Saturday, and try to be the players and Brian Bonnen and Crowley and those kind of guys. And so to be able to come in the locker room and see that M on the carpet and put that M on your chest is definitely something that I'll treasure the rest of my life. And I think the camaraderie with the guys is really big for me too. And I get along with everybody, and we're all friends, and that's definitely a positive and a bonus for me too.
Well, if it's been a dream up till now, last night turned into a nightmare. Minnesota absolutely looking dreadful in their 6-3 loss. So we go to our McDonald's game plan. We're going to concentrate on Minnesota, Doug. 5 things they need to do to reverse the ship.
Well, you've got it right here by saying increase the intensity. That means you've got to go out shift after shift. If you haven't prepared all day, it'll be too late. More physicality. What's wrong with checking in this game? I thought we still had it. Gophers forgot about that element. Vintage Kangas, good early, not so good late. He's got to come back. Better transitional play. And in order to do that, you got to move your feet, which were not done yesterday. And you got to shut down odd man rushes. Boy, there were a lot for the Sioux last night.
You're right, Doug. Last night we did see vintage Kangas. For the first 30 minutes of the game, he was outstanding. But then, like the rest of his teammates in the second half, he was pretty soft too. How will the Gophers rebound? We'll find out next.
He's the backbone.
Save some games for us. He's going to make, some saves that he probably shouldn't.
He's a college hockey player, but he's professional in his approach.
He's always back there making the saves that he shouldn't, and he's our backbone.
And he was last year's team MVP. You are looking at Brian Shack. He is part of a big story coming into this game. We've already told you about the fact that team captain and left winger Ryan Stoa will not be playing because of a game-time decision on an ankle injury last night. Shack in the lineup to take the place of Dave Fisher. He is out with a significant cut across the back of one of his legs. We saw him go out after taking a shot. He and his family drove back to the cities today for an MRI. No word on the results of that yet. But Dave Fisher may be out for more than a couple of games. And Fish, we wish you the best and hope for a speedy recovery. All right, our Northland Ford starting goaltenders, the man, Alex Kangas. We told you team MVP winner of the John Mariucci Award for the team for the University of Minnesota, setting season records in goals against average and save percentage this year, 6 games above 500. Down at the other end, a freshman goaltender in nets, that's Brad Eidsness. We haven't heard much about him, of course, because he's only halfway into his first season. But there was some thought around the Minnesota camp that the goaltender could be beatable if you get some pucks on him. He tended to give up some rebounds last night. But the key is get pucks on him as the Gophers did not do last night in their first period. They only attempted 7 shots on goal. Only 2 made the target. You've got to shoot more than that if you're going to compete. Now LaPointe back to the puck in the North Dakota zone, and the first check of the game thrown by Mike Carman. But the Fighting Sioux bring it into Minnesota territory. The pass for Matt Watkins, and it's off his stick, and then back behind the Minnesota net. Long shot from the point, and Alex Kangas swatted that one. Looked like a bee coming right for the center of his forehead, and he made the save.
Counterattacks were really good by the Sioux yesterday in transition, and they try to hit that long guy to stretch the zone, and then come back. Watch the guy come back through the middle here. Pick him up in the screen. Then we have number 20, Matt Watkins. Same play they were using all last night. Take it down the wing, bring that center back through the middle, try to dice it into him on a 2-on-1.
Brought in North Dakota, the shot from that far point by Chad Genoway gets deflected. Now Minnesota potential 3-on-2 rush to center ice. Jay Barabal bringing it in, gets the long shot off, and it comes right in on Ignis, and he makes the save 40 seconds in. A disastrous Saturday night for the Golden Gophers has not been uncommon here. We go back to the last 8 series, which dates us to 1999, the beginning of the Lucia era. First games here in Grand Forks, the Gophers record 2-6-0. Then they have rebounded for a 5-1-1 record on Saturdays. A significant turnaround, so history in their favor here in Game 2 tonight. Now Gregoire, the scorer of last night's game-winning goal. Their 4th out of 6. Played it into the zone. Genoway playing it into the corner. There's Brett Hextall with the puck, number 26. And it's back into the corner again and hits the netting. Comes down, but as Duncan touches it, the whistle had already gone. Our Toyota Key stat involves Alex Kangas. His career road record is outstanding as well, given the support that he's gotten offensively. Only 3 games above 500, but look at, there's 7 ties in there. That's 7 road points, and that's pretty significant, I think.
Well, it's sometimes hard to get wins when your team only gets 2.5 goals per game. You get them to 3, and you usually won the game.
Draw to Matt Fratney, takes it to the right wing corner. They drive it around. Zach Jones, the senior defenseman, waiting for it. Fighting Sioux got only 1 scoring point last night out of 6 goals from their D-corps, and that was Genoway. Now the check by Boostrom, and then Boostrom got clobbered. Back to the blue and on a nice save at the line by Fairchild, shooting a deflection. And the puck scrambled in front, and the Fighting Sioux get it to center. Fratton leading the charge. Weir's trying to shut it down. Best he could do was slow it down. Then he lost his stick way out at the blue line. Actually, it's now in the circle. A centering pass for Trupp. Then to Van de Velde. And the Fighting Sioux have the first goal of the game at 1:38.
Van de Velde from Moorhead, Minnesota. The junior, they're expecting big things out of starting to score. Last week he got a couple, took one assist last night, a goal here. There's Stratton, the sophomore. He finds Trupp. Trupp finds Van de Velde. He finds the net.
Don't underestimate the play of Matt Fratton either. He was a significant player in the 6-3 win last night. And here he sets up the first goal of the game. And first goals often are telling signs in college hockey. The puck along the board. Sam Loftus trying to plug it up. Could not quite do it. Brought into the far side now by the Fighting Sioux and the rush. Shack trying to shut it down. Kangas making the save, but a lot of traffic dislodges the net. That hard rush on the right side. That was the defenseman Jake Mardo, wasn't it, Doug?
Yeah, it was. I'll tell you what I liked was Loftus give a shot when he came in here. Mardo came in there. A good job by Loftus after the play. He took a good run and got him out of there. That's part of the attitude that you're going to have.
3 shifts into the game last night, Doug. There were already telltale signs about what Minnesota's game might look like. What are you seeing in a couple of shifts here tonight?
Oh, they're playing much harder, much stiffer, much more interested. You can even see by the face-off. Just the sticks are quicker. Much better intensity. You didn't find this, actually, I don't think any time last night, even during their little bit of a surge, the Gophers had as much intensity as they had the first 3 minutes. Now, it's not been the best for you score-wise, but that'll come.
And now there's Nick Larson in a shoving match. He took a shot after the whistle to the back of the helmet and then retaliated. There will be at least roughing minors there. Coincidental, I would suspect.
This could be a record game. This could go on until tomorrow. It's got that kind of a feel. I don't think the Gofers are going to take one step backwards. And one thing about when you change your game from a finesse game, skating game, to one where you're going to be physical and hit, you're going to be getting more penalties because you're out of your element. You're probably going to pick up some charge. You're probably going to pick up some retaliations. But I'm not sure that's all bad right now. Our Gofers got to find some physical and mental identity because they're going to get into the second half of the season. It's going to be a lot of tough situations, and you got to play with your guts and your mind and your heart.
Malone on the board and in the box for the Fighting Sioux. Larson for the Golden Gophers. And we go 4 skaters aside. Genoway gets it over to Finley, and big Joe Finley hums one just wide of the net. Bare ball and outlet pass for Mike Hopeful, but it was behind him. Genoway driving it in, but it hit one of the linesmen. Now freshman Aaron Ness with a pass to center ice, and picked up now by Mike Hopeful, moving in and back into his forehand, and it was knocked off his stick at the last second. Somewhere there was a great defensive play on a fabulous rush by Hopeful. Centering pass for Darcy Zajac, bouncing puck in front. And a scramble there, and finally it's knocked out of the, or now to the zone is brought out. And Carmen will lob it in.
Well, Minnesota can add a 40 over second goal early. They're working too hard. That may be a crusher emotionally. I'll tell you, there'll be some guys that listen to puck tonight from the Sioux too.
Here comes Jay Barabal. They throw it across, a delayed penalty on North Dakota. Kangas has been pulled for an extra skater 5-on-4, and that passes off a stick, but they really did not have control, I guess. Here is Flynn. Flynn throwing it in on the left side. Picked up by Kerry Fairchild. Now they throw it back behind the net. And Carmen off the boards. Here's Fairchild. And gloved at the side by Eidsmith.
Well, you got a little confused there last night with the, when you touch the puck. Now they're really calling it technically that you've got to make possession.
How about Mike Hopeful, Doug? This was a good rush for the guy who had a couple of those guys looked like they had lead legs yesterday.
Well, he cuts across, which was really great. He just missed putting that thing in. He got across, which is a good skating move. He didn't stop short of the fight. He went to the net.
Jason Gregoire is going to get a 2-minute minor for slashing. And I will admit I did not see it, but he's off, and the Gophers was on that delayed penalty, which Kangas might have been the first one to see the arm go up. Now here's Schrader. Jordan Schrader for the Gophers. A 4-on-3 power play for about 20 seconds. Then it'll go 5-on-4. Set up by Fairchild, and Eidsmith had to go off the tip of his glove. Schrader trying to jump on a loose puck. He gets jammed hard from behind by Finley, and it's dumped down the rink. And just 5 more seconds left of those early coincidental minors. Malone and Larson now out of the boxes. Here's Barabal, and it's whistled down on the offside at the line. And everybody is looking for late hits after the whistle here tonight. Folks, if you want to be part of our broadcast, text us a question or comment now to our new short code 234234, presented by Burger King. Doug and I will answer your questions during the game. We'll also answer questions during the post-game show. That's short code 234234.
That new ruling where you've got to get possession of the puck on delayed penalty, that's kind of tough. Last night there was 2 or 3, and I forgot that the ruling is so strict.
Good word. Oh, there's a blatant icing. Where did that come from? Gophers' power surge, in particular, has been on the power play. 23 power play goals this season already. They had 25 all of last year.
Well, they could use one right now.
Yeah, they could. Last night they were 0 for 3 on the power play and gave up a shorthanded goal.
Well, they won a draw last night. The draws ended up dead even. I think it was 36-36.
I would have lost money on that bet if you'd asked me after the game who won more.
Well, it was lopsided until we got into the late in the second and third. Minnesota made a little bit of a rush.
Fairchild elects to get it over to Barabal. Oh, there's a shot that hits nothing but glass. And finally kept in by Schrader. Knocked down with a glove by Barabal. Can't deliver the centering pass. And then Lucia's pass might have been deflected, and it's all the way down the rink.
If Finley gets in front, they could. Ooh, I thought they had too many guys. He's a mountain in front of that net.
Joe Finley, 6'7".
Yeah, he's
at 245. He's 2 nets tall, isn't he?
A couple of mountains and a couple of Adirondacks. Oh, 2 nets tall, yeah, he sure is.
Here's Ness. Knocked off of his stick, but he got it right back. 15 on the power play. Malone finishing a check on the far rail on Carmen. Carmen back after the puck. Here comes Malone again, and now he peels off. Lead pass to center. Lofquist a drop for Carmen. Now ahead to Lofquist again, and they flip it into the corner. From behind the net, it's driven around by Brad Miller. Block at the line by Ness, and he elects to dump it back behind the cage as his only option to keep it in the zone, and at least a hope for possession. Ness again. Crisp passing by Minnesota. We saw none of that last night. And Larson and the play are offside at the blue line. So we have hit the 6-minute mark here of period number 1. And the only goal of this game scored by Vanderbilt.
I guarantee it.
The Minnesota bench, eyes focused. Joe Miller trying to play it in. Miller is the extra forward who skated during warm-ups. Takes Ryan Stoa's place. If you're just joining us, both Stoa and defenseman Dave Fisher out with injuries sustained in last night's game. Far point, here's Weir, winding, shooting. Shot comes into the corner. So Miller is the replacement forward. Ryan Shack, the replacement defenseman. We've seen Shack maybe 1 or 2 shifts. And then it is dumped down the rink. It comes skittering to the side, and they're going to wave off the icing.
Good non-call.
Outlet pass by oh man, Anderson, and that one failed miserably. And it'll go back to the right of Alex Kangas, who is our Saturday spotlight, and we'll let Alex Kangas introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Alex Kangas. If there was a movie made about my life, Mark Wahlberg would play me. The one NHL player I'd pay any amount to see is Sidney Crosby. If I didn't play hockey, I'd like to be a professional golfer. My biggest fear is Stu Bickle. My junk food weakness is chocolate chip cookies.
Stu Bickle. And nobody's had a sighting of Stu Bickle for months.
Well, we have to investigate. They were roommates last year. I wonder if that has something to do with it.
Carryover effect there. Residuals.
Yeah, Alex, pretty neat and tidy guy. I wonder if he didn't see the good, the bad, and the ugly of Stu Bickle last year. Brought in on the far side, a check there by Weirs, slowing up Darcy Zajac, stopping him actually. Now the Gophers to center with Boostrom. Boostrom getting it in. Chris Vandervelde's goal at 1:38, the only goal of this game. Nico Sacchetti digging for Minnesota. So is Boostrom. Here's Boostrom with the puck. Genoway playing the body pretty hard. Now Sacchetti. Guys are earning their keep in that corner on both sides.
Slash.
Yeah, by Finley. A roundhouse whack. There's a quick centering pass by Sacchetti. And there's Finley to get the puck, and now they bring it to center. At the Minnesota line. Trying to get around Aaron Ness on that far side. Kangas makes the save from the goal line.
Oh, come on.
Ness goes down, no whistle there either. Here's Ryan Duncan behind the Minnesota net. Slowed up by Ness. White over to get the puck for the Golden Gophers. Patrick White playing it ahead. Boostrom ducks under a high hit on the far side from Andrew Kozak. Now Krupp, I think one of the Fighting Sioux dumped at center ice. There'll be a Minnesota penalty. I just saw the aftermath, Doug. A player down. I didn't see the hit.
Boostrom.
Duncan puts it across the Minnesota slot. LaPointe could not keep it in. They pull Eidsness for an extra skater. 11 and a half to go here in period number 1. Now Chris Vandervelde at the Minnesota line. Did not somebody touch the puck? And it's put in the crease, and Kangas got just enough of it to get a quick whistle. And tempers are a little bit high again around the Minnesota goal. Justin Boostrom with a hook out at center ice will get Minnesota's first penalty. Country Financial will show you who's hot, and it's Minnesota's penalty kill. They were 3 for 4 last night, slipping a couple of fractions of a percentage point down below Miami in second place nationally with Nebraska, Omaha, Northeastern, and Notre Dame, the top 5 in college hockey. Boostrom off the penalty at 8:46 was a hook. And it is not Minnesota's first penalty, but it is the first that will result in a power play. Penalty killers include Lucia, Schrader. Here's Fairchild with the puck and Anderson. And Fairchild gets it all the way down the rink, and Eidsness will play it.
My unbiased opinion is Minnesota's got the short end of the officiating so far. Shepard saw him in the hallway. Derek, he said, "You called me Brad yesterday. He's my shorter, fatter brother." I said, "I didn't say one word about officials yesterday. Not even brought him up. Now I can."
Yeah, well, I didn't call him Brad. I just said there's Derek Shepard, Brad's brother.
Oh, okay. All right. There's somehow or another got miscombobulated.
To the right side, and Van de Velde. And out of the point, and a little bit of a handcuff play there. Ryan Martin's made that a little more adventurous than he'd like. Duncan, Martin's coming into the slot now. He'll peel back. Van de Velde to Duncan. And the tip, right under the stick of Martin's at the point, and now Duncan in the corner. Up the middle for Murdo. And Kangas is there to block it and make the save. Well, the Golden Gophers, we told you, number 2 in the country in the penalty kill, and one thing that results in is that they have not allowed more than one power play goal in any weekend series this season. They were 1 for 4 last night, so if history holds true, the Fighting Sioux will have had their one and only power play of the weekend.
Face off here.
Van de Velde lost that draw. A good clean win by Schrader, and then Fairchild just drove it down the rink.
Important draw there, important draw, 25-second draw.
30 seconds now left on the power play. Brought into the Minnesota end, a drop pass, and that stop is left loose for a moment by Kangas. And he had to make another key save on Van de Velde after the initial rush from the right side.
Van de Velde is a key factor in this lineup for the Sioux. He rounds out a good second line. Stratton comes in, makes a play. I tell you, the Sioux attacked the offensive blue line with aggression last night on the counterattacks with transition. They just made a lot of 2-on-1 difficult situations for the Gofers, and the Gofers found them, the Sioux going down the middle, down the middle, down the middle, down the middle, at least a half dozen times. They didn't score in that first period, but they had many opportunities.
A point-blank shot. Kangas is there to rob Evan Trupp, who was alone in front of the net. Now driven to the near side. Here's Getaway shooting it. Terham's off Lucia. 5 more seconds left on the Minnesota penalty kill, and it's wafted to center and into North Dakota territory. And the penalty now to Boostrom is over. Lucia in a collision at the line with Getaway. Boostrom doing a little checking at the line, and Trupp shooting it into the corner. Fairchild and Martin's after the puck. Martin's played it back behind the net for Matt Watkins. He's outnumbered, but still touches the puck and nursed it out of there. Picked up by Martins, who goes back behind the net. The centering pass by Watkins to the line, and then back out of the zone.
Well, and obvious is Sioux, when they approach the blue line, if it's evened up, they're dumping in the corner. There it goes. That was right to the middle there, but they're trying to put Minnesota's deep in their end, then bang them, take care of these smaller defensemen, make life tough.
Zajac was hit hard out at center ice by Nico Sacchetti, and we have an offside play that's going to get faced off way out at center. Join Fox Sports North at Twins Fest, presented by U.S. Bank on January 23rd through the 25th at the Metrodome. Meet current and former Twins greats, take clubhouse tours, and get an up-close look at the Twins' future ballpark in the enhanced Target Field display area, and much more, of course.
Minnesota cannot take many penalties. They're a little thin in depth. North Dakota's 1 through 4 is a better team up front. Minnesota has some awful dynamite players, but not deep up front, not as deep in his balance as the Sioux.
Jones was jammed up by Ryan Flynn, and that's the first mention of Ryan Flynn's name tonight. Nice coverage by Mike Hofo. Excellent coverage coming back. Scooting hard to get catch up to.
Yeah, I was going to mention Flynn's name, and it wasn't going to be in the positive.
I didn't think it was.
It was on the man short. We didn't tip. Here's that 3-on-2 break now. Last night, Hopeful did not come back on a couple of rushes that the Sioux had. And I'm talking to Glenn Somner. I think he was madder than I was about the fact that it was an example where the Gofers didn't compete. That time, Mikey came back, took away that trailer, made a difference in the play.
Brad Malone to the face-off for the Fighting Sioux, number 22. And now they get a quick whistle down there. And that's Brian Shack. And Shack's helmet has come loose.
Well, Malone's got a stick. If you watch him closely, he's got the high hand, right hand on the high side, and the left hand down low, and he's cross-checking everybody along the rail. Started last night, continued tonight. Somebody's got to answer that guy. Shack's the message.
They're upset here that Malone's going to go. But I guess they should be. Shack and Malone are off at 11:57.
Shack's got the double minor.
Oh,
Yeah, that's an is right.
oh man.
I tell you, Minnesota does not need to kill penalty, but you still got to answer the call in Shepherd.
Well, that's something what you were saying earlier, right? I mean, you're going to be, if you're going to assert yourself, you're going to wind up getting a few more penalties. And you're going to have to live with it.
That's right.
And they need to do that. And here's Schrader with an outstanding rush up the rink.
What I'm more bothered by is the cross-check guys coming in with the staple and not being called.
Well, I heard from a comment from one of the players last night, Doug, after the game, was that the officials told him that they're pretty much going to let him play.
Yeah, now how can you decide this?
Well,
I'm not arguing with
that's been my argument for years, you know, let who play?
Yeah, you shouldn't have it. You just call the rule book. That's all you do. That's your job. Follow the rule book. If you want to make some minor adjustments because of the time of the game, I don't have any problem with that.
Get away to Vandervelde, and they bring it in offside and a close play at the line. Still a minute 14 on that extra minor to Shack. Which I don't know if they've told us yet what the calls are, Doug. They had a minor on Shack, minor on Malone. That's all they're showing us here, but he's up on the board for 4, so they're not giving us the whole story yet.
I would think roughing.
Now here's Mardo.
He had trouble last night here with stats and triple minors for roughing.
Yeah, who got that? Was that Stowe? I never did find out who they gave a triple minor to.
Oh, it had to be Stowe because he's the last guy to go in. He was the...
So Shack gets 2 for instigating, 2 for roughing. 2 for roughing goes to North Dakota's Malone as well. Now here's Boostrom. A pass to Hopo, firing high. Well, shooting high, if you think this guy's weakness is high, shooting high is one thing, but shooting it over the net is another.
They never count when you get them over the net.
Not usually, no. They have to have a very generous scorer to count that as a shot on goal.
Frank, they've obviously gone back to the 2008 rule book in this league.
I agree. Blast is blocked by Ness. Another blast by Mardo, and it took a bad hop for him off the shin pad, and it's brought up ice now by Mike Carmen, one man back. Carmen shooting, and it gets deflected. The lone defender back was Ryan Martins. Here's Carmen with the puck. He and Martins are in the corner, and away with it is Matt Watkins. Watkins in his senior year. Now to center ice, to the Minnesota line. Zajac brings it in. The Shack penalty is over. 6 minutes left to go in the first period. And North Dakota with an early goal about 90 seconds in and a 1-0 lead. Now Kevin Weirs to the line. Was it attainable? I thought it was attainable. Apparently it's ruled icing.
Carmen had an opportunity to cut across there, Frank. That made it look like something was going to happen in a one-on-one. Watch what happens when he shoots the puck too soon, right when he's lined up with the defender. If he'd have waited 2 more strides, the defender's all done skating. He's all done skating. He'd have taken 2 more strides. He'd have been 3 of them, had a shot on net. When you come in off the offhand side, take yourself 2 or 3 more strides, because the defender only takes 1 or 2, and he stops. And he's dead if you get 3 or 4 to the edge on him.
Pass by Lucia, misfires, another icing against Minnesota.
It's something you can work on in practice. So you make that cut. Now the defenseman will take 1 or 2 strides, and that's what he's used to making on a turn, but he'll quit skating at that point. You keep going, you clear yourself, boom. Boom, you're in scot-free.
You amaze me how sometimes you boil this game down to such simple tactics that most of us never see.
Oh, it just drives me nuts. The shot over the net.
Not so simple then.
Yeah, maybe not good for me.
Oh dear.
I like that cut across.
fact,
why does the defenseman tend to stop? Is it a physical thing or just a
tendency is when you're on the inside or the outside, when you're the defender, when somebody starts going around you, you take 1 or 2 strides, and that's usually the limit. Then you start skating again.
Okay.
But there's a lull between the last crossover you made.
Ooh, a point-blank shot by Barabal. Boy, was Schrader outstanding on that face-off.
He's won a couple cleanly so far. He's sharper tonight, too, than he was. He had the heavy legs last night.
That was textbook.
Boy, I tell you,
This time he tries to come to the near side. North Dakota with control. And out for Malone, but it was tipped, and it goes to Duncan anyway. Glove, stop, no, a goal! And they plow into Kangas, but they have a 2-0 lead on a long, soft one.
went off the top of his glove and dribbled in. Shots taken here. We're right through the glove now. It depends how much of a replay we get. They take over our territory. It goes right over the glove.
Now, there might have been a little deflection in there, but he still got his glove on it. I don't know if it rolls off the D stick or not.
No, I don't think so, Duncan.
Oh, boy, he might have taken a teammate stick. Kangas in that aftermath.
No question about that.
Yeah. Ness got jammed in there.
Well, that's a gimme from the goaltender, because it was a nice high shot, but it was a high shot. He had it in his glove, I think, to begin. The Hobie Baker winner.
9th goal of the year for Ryan Duncan. Watch the knuckleball here, Doug. Oh, yeah, look at that.
Danced.
It did.
But he, for a while he could do no wrong. Now he's getting a couple of bad breaks. Things go that way.
Wrapped back at the line, and a tough play at the line. Was that Schrader back there?
Oh, big right.
Larson, sorry.
Big right.
And that hard shot by Fratton comes off the glass. Malone got 1 assist on that one. Hextall the other. 3 fighting Sioux bringing in again. Fratton shot, rebound. Oh, just nearly punched in by Evan Trupp. That would have been lights out.
Oh, boy.
Fairchild got it as far as the top of the circles before losing it.
That's an indicator of bad play there. He's up by himself. He's going to dribble. If he's only by himself, as you dump in the corner, get back on D, let the forwards go. Not a good decision by Cage. Can't defend it.
Flynn forcing the puck into the North Dakota end. Far side of the rink, Brad Miller playing it ahead. Ness for Minnesota back across to the near side. Kevin Weirs to dump it in. Miller tied up by Carmen. Miller away with the puck. Nearly gave it away to Hopeful. He does. Hopeful 2-on-2, cuts and shoots. He shot it high.
Frank,
You got to change up on this guy and put one on the ice.
How about I talked to Hopeful last year about that and kidded him in summer camp. You got to get it down. There's too many opportunities. You can't score when it's over net.
Weirs ahead to Hopeful again. Hopeful and Genoway. Malone plows him down. White to the point. Weirs to Hopeful. Looking for help from Sacchetti. Genoway is there to get rid of it. And Kozak slipped and fell. White shoots one off the base of the net. White gets it himself. Boostrom heads down the middle of the slot. White after a loose puck. Kozak met by Boostrom. Fairchild keeps it in the zone. And in a tough fought shift here, Gofers keep it in.
That's a battle going on down there.
There's White. Boostrom stopped this time. And now Kozak fires a pass to center ice and a nice catch there. Cutting in was David Taves.
Nice defensive play by RJ.
Taves with a takeaway on the far boards. There's Sacchetti trying to knock it loose. And Nico Sacchetti from center ice to dump it in. 2:22 to go. Jordan Schrader, bumped by Genoway. Spins away with the puck. Heads to the front of the net. Did a great job of dangling there. And now here he is with the puck again. Up the middle for Lucia, but it's into the body of Duncan. Chris Vandervelde with a goal at 1:38, and then the celebration by a Hobie Baker winner 2 years ago, Ryan Duncan.
Minnesota playing a lot more aggressively, a lot more spirit than they had last night. Couple of one misfortune goal here. But they're playing a lot tougher, a lot tougher.
At center ice and hopped over the reaching glove of Weir's. It's brought in by Duncan. Knocked out of the air with a high stick. That's waved off. There's a long shot by Mardo. Boy, Doug, you're absolutely right about the rule book.
Oh, yeah, it's an absolute joke.
Yeah, this game looks no different. Now here's Weir's with a hit on the far side, and North Dakota player wondering, gosh, where's the penalty?
He's got an argument because he never touched the puck, so it would be interference.
That's not called in this game. This weekend.
These guys will adjust. Look at this little discussion going on. Minnesota's guys have got to back each other up, but they can't walk away when there's a little bit of an altercation. They got to keep some physical presence. When North Dakota scored that last goal, they stood and pushed our Minnesota players out of the area, which belongs to Minnesota as much as anybody else. You've got to hold your territory and not let people put a flag down. If this is the case where he threw it out of bounds without being touched, which I thought, you can't hit that guy who is going to be the intended receiver.
Flynn for Minnesota and Carmen. Zajac for the Fighting Sioux. And the dribbles to center ice after Martin's got it out. Here's Flynn again, wrapped off his stick. And Fairchild, pressured by Watkins. It's turned over, however, and offside on a delayed call. They apparently did not cleanly touch up.
Genoway, he's going to play lawyer there. But he was about 40 feet away, not in line with the call. It was Matt Watkins who was offside on the far side.
Face-off won by Zajac. Zajac jammed up by Carmen. The 1 minute announcement now made. Watkins after it in the corner. Back at the line, a screen shot comes deflecting in, bouncing in on Kangas, and he makes the stop there.
Well, the Sioux go to the net. Oh, there's a swat. Well, the Sioux go to the net hard. Get that puck back to the point or in the high slot, and they're driving. And that's why they come up with some goals. Genoway is a good hockey player, Frank.
Absolutely.
He can skate, he plays hard, plays tough. He's not real big, but he's big, hard, and good rink rat.
Schrader in against Vandervelde. Now Fratton. Checked by Lucia. Vandervelde, tied up by Weir's. Vandervelde battling. Fratton, 35 in the period. Trupp, this second line of theirs is one of their most dangerous.
No question. Those top two will produce the scores.
Fratton misses everything with a rocket shot. And now it'll be kept in at the line by Vandervelde. Fratton looking for Trupp, broken up by Weir's. Ness and Weir's got all they can do to handle this line.
They're tired right now, those two. They've been battling behind their red line. He's got to move the puck instead of stick handling here. Let somebody else dump it in.
And he dumps it in. And he'll peel off. That's Weir's peeling off on a change as the horn brings an end to this first period of play. Only 6 shots on goal for the Golden Gophers, the Fighting Sioux, with the only 2 goals in this one. Our Saturday Spotlight will continue during our intermission. We'll find out exactly what designs are on Alex Kangas's helmet. We'll talk live with Mike Carmen just outside the Minnesota dressing room. Doug and I will have highlights and stats of period number 1. Game 2. First period complete. North Dakota getting a lead this time earlier, and it's 2-0 Fighting Sioux. Welcome back to REA after one period of play Saturday night, the Fighting Sioux with a 1-0 lead. Mike Carmen joining us outside the Minnesota dressing room. Much different attitude by the Golden Gophers. Mike, what's been some of the differences that this team has experienced tonight compared to last night?
I think one big thing we talked about before the game is we got to be physical. We got ran out of the building last night, and there's no excuses for that happening to us. And we knew we needed to turn that around tonight in order to have success, and I think we've played them pretty evenly so far.
Yeah, 2-0 lead or 2-0 deficit from your point of view. How tough is it going to be to erase that?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. We're on the road. It's always tough to come back when you're down. But, I mean, there's 40 minutes left in the game, a lot of hockey left, and I think we're up to the challenge.
Different attitude in the room as well tonight compared to last night?
A lot different. Guys are more upbeat, more positive. The bench is good, and I think you're going to see a little bit more coming out of us over the next 40 minutes than you have from last night.
All right, Mike Carmen, congratulations on a good first period tonight. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you.
Mike Carmen for the Golden Gophers joining us. We'll be back in just a moment or two. Turn our Saturday spotlight on Alex Kangas after this. Signs positive despite the score, a little more positive anyway for the Golden Gophers after 20 minutes of play, and certainly better early than last night.
Oh, much better. A lot of intensity. All you can ask is a good effort. Gophers gave that period. You'd hope for a little bit more, but you know what? When you're going good, things happen to you. Brad puts that puck on the trouble stick. I think again it bounces over Vanderbilt, but he's ready. And here's the long pass coming across. Picked up here by Duncan. Howie Baker winner. He slams it, and that's one of the few mistakes that the young goaltender will make. Here's Hopeful. That's the nice drive he makes here on the D. Cuts back in on 67-inch tall. Big guy Finley. He's forever big. Carmen cuts across, shoots the puck. Things just aren't quite going for the Gophers.
Jeep stats after 2 periods, a 12-6 edge in shots for North Dakota. Neither team scoring on a combined 3 power plays. Hits also in favor of Minnesota, 11-8. And in attempted shots, the Gophers had only 7 in the first period last night, 17 tonight, and they cut North Dakota's attempts in half. Thanks for joining us at the Ralph Engelstad Arena in Grand Forks with Doug Woog. I'm Frank Mazzacco, and again, thrilled to have you with us. Looking up an interesting note, Doug. The Gophers have been outscored in the first period only 6 times this year, but they haven't come back to win. They're 0-3-3 in those 6 games. It's another trend that needs to be reversed tonight, and a Minnesota player shaken up in the corner. It's Kevin Weirs, and I didn't see who laid him out.
Oh, he just did.
Twisted him around, left shoulder into the boards first. Will go off on his own power, but obviously stung pretty bad.
He's a tough kid, Kevin Weirs. A little football, played hard. Zeta.
And our Saturday spotlight just a couple of weeks ago, or actually last week. There's a lot of pain there. Yeah, and it's not going away.
He's not giving up easy.
Gophers already stung on the D-core in the first game tonight. And again, for those of you who may not have been with us at the very beginning, Dave Fisher out after receiving a laceration across the back of his leg in last night's first period. And actually went on to play into the second period before he realized how severe it was. Now here's a long shot by Ness, and then Ryan Stoa, a pregame warm-up scratch. Apparently received an ankle injury last night. And they made a game-time decision. Here's a scramble in front of the net, and a turnaround shot wouldn't go in. Ryan Flynn from center ice will dump it into the Gophers' effective 5-man chain. Long pass to center ice, grabbed by Hextall. Hextall and Zajac bring it in. Hextall dumps it in. Zajac goes off on a change. Anderson and Hextall in the corner. It's wrapped loose by R.J. Anderson. And back out at center ice for Joe Finley. Keg Getaway putting it in, and Shack putting a hit on Hextall before either one of them got to the puck.
Yeah, that's interference.
Oh, and Finley a thundering check on Barabal. Finley's lost his glove. Barabal trying to knock his stick out of his hands as well.
Taking a whack at his knuckles is what he was doing. Hardly blame him either. But Finley has nobody he can take on. He's a foot taller than everybody.
Here's Barabal, the shot right on.
Finley's talking to Barabo. It's kind of a tough spot for Finley because if he picks on somebody half the size, he'll get crap for that. If he doesn't, look at now he's giving it his ear, and the referees will come over. I mean, it is tough. Even last night, that altercation at the end of the game with Stoa, Finley came in and grabbed somebody the back of the shirt, pulled him out, and you look at him, you know, like a rag, tossed off to the side. I mean, he is really in a tough spot.
Justin Bostrom shooting wide, and as you had the look at Jay Barabal, you saw some numbers that seemed to indicate that the old Barabal is back. The freshman year, Jay Barabal is back. The chance for Truck, always dangerous, always making things happen. And this time he shoots the puck back out of the zone.
And Weirs is back in the lineup, which is good news for Minnesota and for him. Oh, look at this Miller go.
Brad Miller leading the rush to center ice. Now Chris Van de Velde, Truck down the middle. They couldn't get the puck to him. They had two North Dakota players breezing through from the middle of the hash marks down towards the goal. Either one of them could have tipped it in.
Exactly. Kate Fairchild didn't take it, and neither did Weirs. Neither one of them did.
They look like the Blue Angels going down.
Yeah.
You know, and they peeled off, each peeled off, one going left, one going right.
Yep.
There they go. Here's Anderson. And now Boostrom. Now to the corner for Carmen. And no support yet. Joe Miller will be the first man in there, but Lapointe gets rid of the puck. Derek Lapointe, number 3. A giant from Eau Claire. Lapointe, number 3, 6'3" and 187. Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Kind of waiting for him to reach his peak here. He came in and highly touted, thought he was going to be a terrific player. Just needs to get some coordination with that 6'3" body.
Played an equal number of games, played about 25 games all of last year. He's already played 23 games this year. And it's dumped in by Joe Miller.
I'll tell you one thing the Sioux do pretty well is that when they get a standing target, they don't miss them. When they go to the boards and put a hit on them, they mean business.
Yeah.
They put a tattoo and put a stamp on remembrance moment.
Finishing the check. There's a look at Mr. Lapointe. Draft pick of Florida. 4th rounder as well. And you say after Eau Claire, where? Well, he played with Green Bay in the U.S. League under Mark Mazzolini. And a lead to center. Here comes Malone. 2-hand break, bringing it in. Malone pass. Nice defense by Sam Lofquist. Another cheesehead. And now the outlet pass. Here's Carmen. 2-on-3. And a chance for Hoefel. And now to Carmen. And now no room for anybody. Flynn. Martins took it away. Carmen trying to get away from Jones. Fires. Eidsness makes the save, but left the rebound. Carmen again. Tight quarters again. Hoefel firing on Eidsness. And Flynn. And a little jostle in front of the net. And now the stare down. And it continues, and we'll be back in a moment.
Minnesota's had a nice start here in the first 4 minutes. They played in the Sioux end more so than their own end. Lost a draw here.
There's a touch by Duncan, and then he got blasted by Lucia and or Larson? Oh, Schrader. And while I'm trying to identify players, we get a whistle, and I'm sure you'll help me.
Oh boy!
Tell me why the whistle blew.
I tell you what, I cannot tell you why it blew. It must be an offside.
No, not with the face-off there. I don't think. No, not with the face-off there.
Batted the puck. I was looking at
Sunday picnic. I don't know.
Maybe they could give you a sign. The referee.
Here's Lucia. Quick centering it pass. It goes through everybody. Lucia in the corner. Here's Lucia. Schrader. Quick centering pass off a skate. And a 3-man North Dakota rush to the Minnesota line. And again, Doug, they attack the blue line.
Yes, they do.
Check thrown by Fairchild. A real pleasant second period here. Miller to throw it in, and it came screaming in. Not screaming, but screening with an N on Alex Kangas. He has an iPod loaded with tunes, including folks like Let the Beat Build, My Life, Love Story, Bad Girlfriend, and I told you, oh, I see. We switched them on me this week, you see. We have the artist on the left. I picked that up. 2 by Lil Wayne. I hope you guys read that.
Oh, my God.
Now, I'm going to the consistency police in reporting this. The artist must always be on the right when you present me with pop culture. And Doug, I'm sure you caught that right away. You caught it right away.
Yeah, I wanted to give you a chance to speak to it.
Boy, these are odd-sounding titles, artist names.
I went down after you started talking about it. I started looking at it. I don't know one of those. Well, no wonder I did that. Okay, face off here. Chop from the point.
Here's a draw on the shot wide of the target by Trupp. Now Sacchetti. And now Ness.
You know what impressed me too about the Sioux, the guys that are, 5'11", they're putting the hits on, not necessarily the 6'3"ers.
Getaway behind his own net. Sacchetti, oops, lost the edge. Van de Velde, and Kangas knocks it down. Aaron Ness battling through Chris Van de Velde. Gofers work to bring it up the rink this time. Then the shot by Sacchetti from the corner was stopped by Eidsness. It's off the glass to Trupp. They're not getting in close on Eidsness either, are
No,
they?
absolutely not. Everything is in the perimeter, even when they possess the zone.
Like there, which they didn't even possess the zone yet. And it was a long shot, but that was a defenseman, Anderson, getting it in hopes of getting more play out of it. Far side of the rink, Lofquist knocking it off the stick of David Taves. Larson. Now Anderson behind the net. Here's Taves. Lofquist. And a bouncing puck in the middle. Miller and Anderson, and a misfire on the give and go.
And Anderson got what he deserved, the puck right back in his own end after he's been battling.
Now a chance for Miller to get it ahead, and he does, to Jake Hansen. Long shot by Hansen, the early block by Jones. Miller and Jones. Hansen puts it in the middle. Martin's there, the only player to take it away.
That's a rookie move there by Lars. He just threw it away, made the breakout pass for the Sioux. Worked hard, got in there, and then made the error.
Here's Fairchild. And LaPointe. And it's deflected to Zajac on the far side, where he's met by Hansen. Nice reach for the puck by Matt Watkins. Martin's nice play to Zajac. Backhand goes through the crease. Zajac goes in the crease.
Well, Fairchild just wandered out outside the circle. He's got to protect those guys coming in the front of the net. Can't just play one way.
Potential three-man Minnesota break, including the defenseman Weirs, who shoots. It's blocked. He gets it right back. Weirs lays it across. Fairchild puts it in front for Carmen, but he put it behind Carmen.
Nice idea.
Weirs again, looking for a pass or a tip. Hopeful in the corner. Fairchild. And it's in the air. Hopeful once more. Watched by LaPointe. To the side of the net. Eidsness got a piece of it. There's traffic. There's a tipper. Ness, who shot it right on. And it hit the defender. Martins in front of the Ness. Not much zip in the period, but a little bit in the last 30 seconds.
Kangas New Year's resolution, you should spend more room in the weight room and less time on Facebook.
Was that a wry smile?
Oh, he's good.
Stoa out of the lineup tonight for the ankle injury. Dave Fisher out. Both injured last night. Here's Barabal and Lucia. Lucia. Anderson looking for a tip. It's off the skate of Finley. Barabal, great job to get it back. And it's poked loose at the line, and a rush ahead now for Jason Gregoire.
Good play by Ness.
On a much bigger man. Far side, the drop pass down the middle. A chance for bear ball. He was stripped of the puck by Gregoire. That was a key defensive play.
Terrific defensive play.
And in the zone he goes once more as we approach the halfway point of regulation play in Game 2. North Dakota getting 2 goals in the first period of a 2-0 lead. And Minnesota ices the puck. College Hoops returns this week with a doubleheader, beginning with Sunday Night Hoops presented by Pizza Hut. As 3rd-ranked North Carolina battles 4th-ranked Wake Forest in a showdown between 2 of the nation's best teams. Then 10th-ranked UCLA takes on USC, presented by KFC. Coverage begins tomorrow, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, in high definition.
You know, getting into these games in North Dakota after you've been off, basically, or been at home, it's kind of a rude awakening. And all of a sudden you go from a pleasure skating game to one where it's physical and there's action, intensity. There's a lot more to be accounted for when you come up here to play, and you've got to be ready. And the Gophers, if they could play next weekend, probably be a lot better.
Yep. Going against the team that gets hotter and hotter. You know, we've looked at stats, we've looked at numbers, we've talked a lot about them being a 500 team, but if you look in the last 9 games, they're 7-2-0.
Yep.
That's hot. That's not mediocre.
No, and the key to it is to get good balance. Goaltending is stabilized itself. Coach Hexel does a good job. You don't play very many shifts and that many times in the lineup if you don't do what he asks you to do. In other words, you may be a role player. Zajac, he doesn't care. He doesn't care whether Zajac scores 7 or 12 goals. He cares whether or not they're going to play good D. Could be part of a dependable line.
I think their stars have to be role players too.
Oh yeah, you
don't sleep in this program. No. Long shot by Boostrom goes high in the air, and another shot caroms off on defender Miller in front of the net.
This is where they miss the store. Somebody can finish. Somebody can put the puck away. Not blessed with a lot. Last night, the #1 line for the Sioux had like 16 shots.
Fairchild's shot was knocked down in front of the net. Boostrom trying to get away from a check. Tied up pretty good there by Vandevelde. A few of these guys seem like they've been absolutely all over the ice. Vandevelde being one of them. Fratton another. Now Nick Larson, oh, the puck was behind him, and Vandevelde was right there to take it away. At the Minnesota line, it's batted in by Trupp, and he is blocked out by Larson. Trupp in the corner again. Pretty good battle there with Kevin Weirs. He seems to have completely shaken off the effects of that earlier sting. Fairchild got it in the zone. Looking for a return pass from the corner from Jake Hansen.
Little finesse pass there, Frank, and you got a whack at a goal. Little saucer one, it's in.
Yep. Key D, though, on the play as well. He didn't have much room to operate. And it was all over him. Here's Kozak! Scores!
Kozak had 3 goals starting the weekend. He's got 5 after 1 last night and 1 tonight. That'll give and go, a little support pass there. Kozak comes right in. I mean, who are you going to fault? You can fault nobody. You can say, heck of a shot. Kozak coming through. He's from Sycamus, British Columbia. I believe his dad is involved in the fishery business, fish trips, and lumbering, if I recall. One late social event discussion.
2008 All-Academic WCHA player Andrew Kozak, and a second-round pick now in his senior year. Kozak.
They come off that offhand side, but nicely passing tight.
5th goal of the year, 35 on his career. They'll give us assists in a little bit. Meanwhile, we'll turn to our CHS trivia question for tonight. Who has the fastest hat trick in Minnesota Gopher history? Which might be what is required to tie this game. Fastest hat trick.
Well, I think Taves was got the assist, Frank. Malone was on that line, so it's Taves, but I think it's David Taves.
Fastest hat trick. Was that Bill Clatter? Does he have the fastest goal? No, it wasn't hat trick. His was first fastest goal. All right. I'll have to chew on that one a while. Long shot from the far side. It was deflected by Mike Carmen. Now Minnesota down by 3. 28 minutes to play.
Well, this is a tester for the Gophers.
They were down 3 goals twice yesterday by scores of 4-1, 5-2, and then of course the final 6-3. So they were down by 3 goals 3 times yesterday.
Well, a little pass out of the corner put Kozak where he needed to be, and he finished it off. Will Minnesota die here? Will they slip back a notch? If they do, that's double jeopardy. Difficult to maintain the type of intensity they were throwing at the Sioux. Even though they weren't scoring, they were giving it shift by shift a good effort.
Kozak 2 goals this weekend. 1 last night, 1 tonight. And a stoppage.
I think he won about 10 games with 1 before that.
We'll take a break. Be right back. More thunder, more fireworks, more earplugs at the Ralph. The Fighting Sioux right from a face-off in the Minnesota end from an icing face-off. Win the draw, pull it back cleanly, and have now mounted a 4-0 lead, their largest of the weekend. And it was Jason Gregoire, who's having just an outstanding weekend, getting his 2nd goal tonight, 5th point. Now I'll stand corrected there. His 4th point of the weekend, his 3rd goal of the weekend.
Wow. Standing next to the man who made the goal. Too many guys loose around the front of the net. You got to pick them up, get the sticks up. Things happen fast down there.
There's Brian Shack delivering it out to center. And now puck turned over, handed right away to Miller, who brings it in. Miller puts it in front of the net, and it goes all the way through. And now the puck hitting the netting, so we get the stoppage. Gregoire gets the assist. The goal, I'm sorry. The assist go to Hextall and Genoway.
What a line that's been. Gregoire, Duncan, and Hextall. Puck got it. I believe it was a good draw here. Back over, now Genoway gets a chance at it. Hextall's over the backhand. Gregoire's. The thing is, Gregoire is between the goalie and the Minnesota defender. The Minnesota defender has to get between, so he can't have access to that puck. You got to box him out. He's got to be on the outside, not on the inside. I think they had fun last night. They had 16 shots that line tonight. Hate to know what it is.
10-goal weekend for him so far. Only a couple of forwards. Watkins, Malone, and Martin do not have points on the weekend.
And they got
3 points from the D on 10 goals.
Yeah, they got a goal from every line last night.
Here's Carmen. And as it comes dribbling back, Kangas hearing the Civ chant.
Well, not sure that he deserves that.
Here's Hoeffel. And a shot goes off a boot. It caroms around in the slot. Flynn flicks it into the corner. Watkins over to get it. Hoeffel misses on a check. The pass or puck is blocked by Anderson. A LaPointe. And on the far side of the rink to Watkins. Martins from center ice driving it in. And Zajac is in there. And Zajac up the middle for a shot. That hit Ness. And now Hoeffel, 3-on-2. Right side Barabal. Check by Finley. Gets nowhere on the shot. And in the corner to Gregoire once more. And you can just feel the frustration and anxiety as Hextall's long shot comes in on Kangas, and a little collision between Gregoire and Lucia goes no further. Well, now they'll need more than a hat trick, but the answer to our trivia question, our CHS trivia question. The fastest hat trick in Golden Gopher history was scored by Charlie McCabe. I never would have picked that one up against the University of North Dakota in 1929.
Yeah. Who's the jokester?
A span of 47 seconds. I don't even know they kept those records back then.
Well, what I think is nice is we remember the elderly. I think it's a good tribute to our players of the past. Well, you know, playing on the line with him was a little hard. He never moved the puck as much as he wanted to score all the time.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that would be a bad line to be on with you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, somebody who wanted the puck like as much as I did. What the heck? We have 2 pucks here, sir. Here, look at those pill splitters, you know.
I'm sorry, Doug, but you should know that I get a little remuneration from the Gopher Hockey Alumni Organization, the former Gopher players, every time I give you a shot like that.
Yeah. He's a pretty good pass. He's about to have the jar full now. Oh boy, Minnesota. This is a tough spot to be. But you're a player, you're 19, 20, 21 years old, you got to compete.
And the young guy's got to learn.
Yeah, and the other, you know, well, it's going to sound like doomsday. Things can happen here, but they've got to keep working.
Here comes Fairchild. And now grabbed on the far side, Duncan. Hextall darting in, drops it back. Duncan carrying, throws it back to Genoway. And around the horn it goes.
He picked up his first assist here in the last goal. It's almost hard to believe because he's always got the puck. He's always making smart plays. But
that's Minnesota's 6th shot on goal of the period.
And it started out the first 5 minutes where they dominated the zone. They just didn't get anything but bad angle and periphery shots.
Nice catch on the far side. Tough puck there for Kozak, right in front for Tripp, and a goal! David Taves! After Kozak made a great play on the left side, 5-0 Sioux.
Kozak grabbed that puck from the defender. Terrific pass on the backside to Kozak, and he found Taves coming in off the edge, but it was a terrific catch of the pass. Back in Richmond, when this all started tonight, oh my goodness. Somehow or another he evaded Lavkas. I'm not sure that was the right call. Nobody picked up the guy on the wing side, so Lavkas stayed in the middle. He was pointing for the forward to take him. Didn't take him.
Freshman from Winnipeg, his 4th collegiate goal. And a 5-0 Fighting Sioux lead. Great pass. Great play on that left side. And here's Boostrom. Took the hit, but delivered it out to center ice for White. He gets it in the zone. Well, you've already heard, I'm sure, at home, the overrated chant here by the Fighting Sioux faithful. They are unranked. Got a few points, got a few mentions in the voting in both polls. Minnesota ranked 3rd, climbed to that position after winning the Dodge Holiday Classic last weekend. A win tonight by North Dakota, which is still 24 minutes away at least, would put them in a tie in the WCHA standings. They're only separated by 2 points.
Yeah, this is going to be, well, you kind of anticipate a split. Hextall's got his team going here. They're going to probably come out here with a sweep. But talking to him today before the game, Frank, he's talking about he was anticipating Minnesota playing a lot harder today. He said that's you win on Saturday or Friday in this league, and Saturday is double tough because guys come after you doubly hard at the competitive college spirit, which is true.
Scored 2 goals a minute 3 seconds apart, and another goal about 2 minutes 47 seconds later. So they bunched up 3 here in the span of about 4 minutes in a race for the puck now, but icing with 3:47 to go. The Grant Casino game summary here in the second period will show you why there's some disappointment on the Minnesota bench. Vandevelde, Duncan, Kozak, Gregoire, and Taves have goals in this one. 5. Hextall and Taves from North Dakota to assist each. Gregoire, a 4-point weekend. And an 11-goal weekend against the University of Minnesota. an otherwise stingy team defensively. But looking quite porous and quite vulnerable here this weekend. Joe Miller takes a whack at the puck. And now it comes to him. Nico Sacchetti to bring it in.
Well, I know for sure Walker's not any faster than Sacchetti, but he just caught up to him. Just Minnesota does not have the legs, and the Sioux have that spirit and that drive right now.
Here's Trupp. A loose puck in front and a scramble in front, and Martins was robbed this time by Kangas. Yes, they do. They have that spirit, and a 5-0 lead is going to energize them even further. Second period continues in a moment.
Number 14 on D, John Miller, has been playing, Brad Miller has been playing forward and defense all year. He was tied for the first coming in here for a number of points in the team, along with Genoway, 2 defensemen. Now it's going to be a little closer, but add him to the front line, see the offensive power you'd have. If they need him back on the D, he's done the job.
Eidsness makes the save, leaves the rebound, but Miller right there to clear it away. Deflects a couple of times out at center ice, Mike Carmen. Jones to Miller. A steal by Hoeffel. Trying to stick handle in a phone booth. That shot blocked by Jones right out front of the net. Stood his ground pretty good, Zach Jones. Wears. And it's off the glass and around the dasher. Miller ahead to Trupp. Finally comes out to center.
Not so sure why Ness was standing outside the blue line.
And here he is with the puck behind the net. Pass to Flynn at center. Dumps it in. Mardo to LaPointe. Duncan touches it. Anderson got it to Schrader. Here's Shack. And Mardo gets it out of the zone.
Gofers have absolutely no clue as to what's going on. They, one guy's up, another guy's back. There's just no rhythm to the game. Lines are mixed up without Stowe in there.
And unfortunately, as this game goes on, it's looking more like last night than 2 weeks ago or even a week ago. And here comes Barabal. Long shot hits iron at the 19-minute mark. And as a Barabal moved to duck a check, now he fires a shot off the skate of Hansen. Kozak gets it out of the zone, and Anderson goes back to get it.
Barabal did lead the team in shots with 2 after the second period.
And Karams and hops right back to Anderson. Too far for Barabal. No icing. Getaway. Finley to help out. And Hansen doing a pretty good job in there. Now Bostrom. And off the rail. Martins. And they're out of the zone in a hurry. Out of the corner, here's Watkins. Here's Genoway shooting. And the puck to the corner again.
See how Genoway kept going and got the shot off instead of stopping and playing early. Kept skating and made the play.
But for whatever reason, they've turned the fog machine on here, and that'll bring the end to the period. And an electrifying period for the Fighting Sioux fans. They had 2 in the first and explode for 3 goals here in the second period. We'll continue our Saturday Spotlight during this intermission to talk to Alex Kangas about his best save and favorite memories. We'll also visit live with Chris Vandevelde outside the UND locker room. Doug and I will have highlights, which are going to be mostly Fighting Sioux, and stats. North Dakota, 20 minutes away from a weekend sweep. They have a 5-0 lead over the Golden Gophers. Back with more in a moment. Welcome back to the REA. Moorhead native Chris Vandevelde good enough to join us outside the Fighting Sioux dressing room. An explosive period, 3 goals in about 4 minutes, Chris. You guys are just really dominating and taking control, not only of the game, but of the weekend. What's it like in your room?
Obviously, you know, the mood is up, but, you know, we're just working hard, and we're winning battles out there. We're making plays, and, you know, the scoreboard shows it.
This team, Dave Haxtell has told us we should look for a balanced team, and it certainly seems to be that from our vantage point here. Tell us about the balance and how this team works together.
Yeah, we have 4 really balanced lines. Our D pairs are all good, and you know, Ides is good at net, and I think you know, our lines up front, we all have good chemistry, and we're working well together. So, you know, it's really good to see that you know, throughout halfway through the season.
All right, Chris, thanks very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck the rest of the way. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll turn our Saturday spotlight on Alex Kangas. And since then, he has provided Minnesota fans with many, many great saves. Highlights and stats in a moment. Well, the Fighting Sioux and their laser show enjoying the second half of the season as they tend to do. And boy, they really have taken charge this weekend as the Gophers seem to have slipped it in reverse here in the second period.
Yeah, they threw some lasers down on the rink too, Frank. There's some bullets. In fact, you watch these highlights, there's not many of them that are 30 feet. They're in tight, but there's nice passing leading up to them. Lozek, gosh, what a weekend, 2 goals for him. He's coming along real well. This is one guy, Genoway, he's involved here. Gregoire will end up finishing his pass. Oh boy, now I lost it. Yeah, so he lost it. It was Hextall. Why did I forget that? Then you got Dave finishing up. Wow, what a finish.
Chrysler stats after 2 periods, a 20-13 edge in shots. There were no penalties called in the second period. The face-off numbers are downright ugly, 33-21. Minnesota with 17 turnovers in this game to 12. 5-0 North Dakota lead. 20 minutes to go. Let's find out what happens next. And a change in goal for the second consecutive night. Kent Patterson will come in relief of Minnesota's Alex Kangas, has given up 5 goals tonight. He gave up 6 last night, was a career high in his year-and-a-half career in college hockey. Kent Patterson in a tough spot here at North Dakota. And there is Alex Kangas, our Saturday spotlight. And we happened to spotlight him on it happened to be a weekend when all 4 tires started to deflate.
Didn't have enough air. But, you know, most of those goals, except for the second one over his catching hand, they were right around the goal. I mean, they're up top shelf, tap-ins behind. Not many of them were soft goals. You can't say the Sioux. In fact, tonight's goals, the Sioux that put in the net have been more superior to the ones they put in last night.
Yeah.
Better shots, not as many shots.
But after 2 periods, St. Cloud State with a 1-0 lead over Minnesota Duluth at the National Hockey Center, which is where we will be next weekend. The Huskies with a win yesterday over Minnesota Duluth, but only a 1-goal lead here after 40 minutes tonight. Left side pass. Here's Hopeful to bring it in. Hopeful battling there with Pardo. Now to center ice. Martins launches one in. Now Weir's back to get it. Schrader gets a touch on the puck, but it's going to be waved off as icing. And now to Schrader again at center. R.J. Anderson playing it ahead. And Jay Barabal.
I bet you Ides is wondering whatever happened to this big series that was supposed to be with the Golden Gofers coming in. I mean, he's really hardly been tested whatsoever. It looks like he's just going back to pick up a puck and get something to do.
13 shots in this game through 2 periods. Or at least to this point. I don't think he's had a shot on goal this period yet.
Probably the only time he got beat badly was the goal by Schrader last night, where passes made. He gets caught once in a while anticipating, and he never got back. But other than that, nothing wrong with his play, even though it hasn't been tested.
North Dakota with 3 goals in that second period on 8 shots. Here's White, and that one's right on, and Eidsness makes the save, and he holds on. Burger King text question for you tonight, and it comes from Joe in Fargo. How easy will it be to rebound next weekend, Minnesota against St. Cloud State?
Wow, first of all, you can take an inventory, see who you got that's healthy. That'll make a difference. You certainly need Stowe because he can score. Doesn't look like you're going to have Fisher. Without getting too windy here, I think St. Cloud probably have more healthy bodies, and Minnesota will either come back with a vengeance, or they'll slide for a while until they get the ship righted. You know, it could go either way. I wouldn't want to predict. You know, when you're overloaded with talent and you don't play real hard, that's one way, one problem. When you have mediocre or good talent but not playing real hard, that's another issue. When you don't have too much talent to play really, really hard, that's another one. So you got to determine what kind of a team do you have. What is your team? I'm not sure. I know. I'm concerned about the size of the D.
Yeah, well, you have another psychological factor in there, Doug, and that is that weekend 1 of conference play, the Gophers swept St. Cloud State. And then it was a few weeks after that St. Cloud got a couple of key players back into their lineup, and they've been a different team since.
Too big D.
Yep, and they're going to be looking for revenge and avenging the 2 losses.
So Minnesota, you take 2 really good players on the lineup. You had 2 really good the other way. It's like a 4-player swap. It's quite a bit.
Fairchild at center.
I'm going to make a kind of a strange statement here, Frank, about how you get out of this once we get the puck.
No, why don't you go ahead right now, because
there's not much going on in it.
It's 5-0, yeah.
Well, I was taking a drink of my favorite little pop here between sessions. I think the key to it, if you're going to be a little light at the blue line, you're going to have your forwards come back to the middle of the net and work from inside out. Work from the defensive side of the game first.
We'll pick up on that in a moment, folks. Tonight at 10, following post-game show tonight from Grand Forks, join us for a special presentation of Spotlight, a tribute to Carl Pohlad. We'll honor the life and legacy of the man who helped bring 2 World Series championships to Minnesota. Twins greats Ken Herbeck, Tom Kelly, Ron Gardenhire, and many more will pay tribute. Spotlight, a tribute to Carl Pohlad, tonight at 10, following our post-game show. Here's Jake Hansen shooting, and a high shot hit Flynn. Now Carmen. And you're welcome to round out your thoughts there. Here's a chance for Carmen.
Nice save.
And that might be the first time we've said that about Eidsness. First time he's been challenged, and that was a Mike Carmen shot.
As soon as we get a break here, Frank, where there's not so intense.
Now Fairchild takes the puck away on the far side. Still maintains control. Battles right in on goal. Tried to go to the forehand for a shot. Now a centering pass for Fairchild got through him. And Kozak comes up ice 1-on-2. The defenseman back is Ness. And Ness tried to pop him and at least slowed him down.
Pair of 10s there. That's all right. Like that. Well, anyway, in other words, you watch the rink here from the posts out to the dots and across. You play all the way back in. Pick up checks, cover guys, and then you take whatever comes on the outside. So you play from the middle of your defensive end, come back into the middle, play corner where the puck is, keep people on the weak side when you're in front, and you work outside in from the defensive side, and then when you get the breakout pass, you start your offense. So that's because you got to work and make small. If you're not going to be a prolific scoring team, you better play very doggone good defense. Oh, that should have been a penalty.
Yeah, back collision over there. Barabal on top of Martins. And breaking through with the puck is Lucia. The drop to Schrader. Down the middle for a spinner on backhand pass there by Barabal. Ness at the line will try to drive it into the corner. He finds Nick Larson. Larson was wrapped up back behind the net. They send it right in front for Lucia. And a whistle. Too many men on the ice, I believe, Marco Hunt calls.
Not enough, Marco.
At the conclusion of tonight's game. Stick around for Quest Gofers Live, which includes the Toyota post-game wrap and our lineup. Defenseless weekend for the Golden Gophers. Defenseless, not in Seattle, but in Grand Forks. We'll talk with assistant coach John Hill to get a summary of the weekend and answer your text questions. Kevin Gord will anchor things from our Fox Sports North studios in the Twin Cities. Too many men on the ice. The penalty is against the Golden Gophers. Brian Shack will serve it. There were no penalties in the second period, none called. And this is the first penalty of the third period. 4:56 the time, and here's Patterson making the save on the Ryan Duncan shot. He's an every shift player, Ryan Duncan.
Well, you know, and I think he's a better wing than he is a center, but he's got those two young kids he's playing on the outside, Gregoire and Hextall. Hextall, I couldn't get his name out during the highlight. I might have put a scratch on him. But those two guys are good players. But I always felt Duncan was a better winger.
But those numbers, career numbers against Minnesota, 14 games, including the Golden Knights, 13 points. And here's Tony Lucia. Ahead to center and Ness. Ness chased to the corner by Genoway. He puts this one all the way back to his blue line. That's Fairchild. Gophers a man short. And now a near giveaway at the line, and Minnesota gets a bit lucky there. Now Lucia, and he'll rag the puck a bit. Throwing it all the way back to Fairchild. And here's Weirs. And Weirs dumps it down the rink. A minute left on that bench minor. And a whistle. Well, lip jack at the Minnesota bench, and Jake Hansen is reaching over the boards out to give somebody a pop. Oh, I see. That's Trupp down. We cannot see him from our press box location. And now can barely see their athletic trainer.
Well, he was, the camera was 200 feet away, maybe 180 feet away by the Sioux net. Martins was taking the puck back there, going to make a play, number 8. All of a sudden, there's this stuff going on. Trupp had a hand injury earlier in the season, had one a year ago too, I believe.
Well, you know, he broke his leg last year, and then he had that bad hand injury earlier this year, which kept him out a game or two.
I think it might have been
a little more than that.
There we go. Yeah. We got too many Sioux players on the rink right now. Got 2 left over, nobody to grab. Maybe they can grab themselves.
There's 7 out there. Beer bottle comes out onto the ice.
Is that bear ball?
Well, yeah, I'm just going to ask you for some help now, because with the jersey off, we'll have to wait till he turns. It's got the locks of Baraball, and it is Jay Baraball. Well, they've filled the nets with pucks this weekend, 11 of them. And you can believe they're filling Minnesota's ears as well.
There was a lot of chatter going on last night, according to the Gopher players anyway, and that offended Captain Stoa. You know, sometimes this can be a good tactic too. If you're kind of an agitating team and you can back it up with your own courage, that can get to people.
Well, yeah, and then you throw 11 goals on the board, and that rubs it in pretty good too.
Salt penetrates a long way.
Yes. You're cut deep into muscle at that point.
This could be a 4-on-3 situation, which would not be good for the Gophers. Although last night, Coach Hassel did not bury the Gophers. He had a couple power plays late in the third. Took out his 4th-line players, let them kind of bat it around, beat it up a little bit, make the puck a little smaller.
Baraball and Shack are in the Minnesota box. Shack serving a bench minor for too many men. Marco Hunt on the left. Garrett Shepard on the right. Hextall is the penalized North Dakota player. And there he is.
Whatever happened to Trupp? What was the issue there? Anybody give a signal? There's no penalty?
I don't know. He's on the bench, and he is leaning up over the boards. Evan Trupp is. Brett Hextall, dead. Actually, a great uncle, Dennis, played here in North Dakota in the mid-60s. You played against him, Doug. Great lineage there with the goaltender, Ron Hextall. His dad played in the NHL for 13 seasons, and a grandfather, Brian Jr., played 9 seasons in the NHL. And a great-grandfather, Brian Sr., got 11 years in the NHL, man.
He got ownership. I'll tell you, Dennis Hextall was a big red-headed centerman. Terry Casey from Billings, Montana, I think. And David Mazur, you mentioned, I think, last night. 3 big centers, great centers. Terry Casey got fortunately killed in a car accident with a train going across the place in softball. But what a kid, what a guy he was. And that was 3 pretty good centers. We were talking the other day with Kenny Christian about Frenchy Lacroix. He used to have a bar downtown, and he kind of was a little bit of a homer. Came in from Montreal, and we'd take a train up to play. He'd be wonderful, kind, gentle, nice. Fill his pickup in a trailer full of baggage, take us over and get us to the hotel. And when the game started, he'd be on the referee. He'd be the referee. Oh boy!
Did you get many calls?
Oh, yeah, but they weren't good Gofer calls.
Well, the only penalty on the board is the bear ball penalty, and that'll put 5 Fighting Sioux players out against 3 Golden Gophers. Here's Miller moving in, dishes it down low. Goal! How about Patterson cut across? He did, but the puck still got under him. 6-0 Sioux on a 2-man power play.
Well, Duncan, I think, finished it off. Miller made one of the great passes across the seam. And the Sioux fans, they're living it early. Duncan came out of a slump. I think he had 1 goal in about 10 games. Got 3 this weekend. There it is there. I don't know who the first pass, that was Miller who made the first or second pass. I don't know who made the D-to-D pass. Couldn't pick it up, was a left-hander. We'll get it here shortly for you. Nice power play, still 5-on-4 now.
Did you say 3-goal weekend for Ryan Duncan?
Yes, I did, my friend.
2 tonight, 1 last night. And they still have plenty of power play time, about 90 seconds or so on the Jay Bearball penalty. And Marno back behind his own net. Watkins brings it in. He and R.J. Anderson battle. And Zajac pries it loose. And Ness gets the puck ahead to Hofel. And it's back out to center ice.
Well, I should have guessed. Getaway to Miller, to Duncan. There's a left-hander there, and he's done that first power play.
Yeah, so those 2 key defensemen, Doug, Getaway and Miller, among their top scorers. Right, and about the only guys that they can rely on regularly for points from the D, come up with them on that power play goal.
The only time in history that a defenseman led the Sioux in scoring was Patrick back, I think, in the 60s.
And it is dumped all the way down the rink here. 30 seconds left on the Bearball penalty. Gregoire. And a centering pass gets all the way through as Malone was coming down the middle.
There's a reason, Frank, there's a reason that there's been a lot of goals scored in front of that. The Sioux go to the net.
Here's Weirs winding and shooting, and that might have caught the goaltender Eichnes in the mask. Weirs again winds and shoots, and that blocked by Gregoire, and Flynn's going to get a penalty. And now there's be a scrum as Flynn threw the first shot in there on Finley, I think. Did he not, Duck?
Yeah, I was watching last week, but it wasn't. And Finley just shoved him off. You're right.
So as Bearball comes out, Flynn will go in. Our Menards game summary with Duncan getting 2 goals tonight. Hextall, Getaway from North Dakota, 2 assists each. Taves, a goal and an assist. I thought Jay Bearball would be coming up, but we find out now that he indeed got an extra penalty. A roughing minor. Well, they still haven't posted any kind of a misconduct, but I imagine he did. Did he, Doug?
I thought there was one assigned there, Frank. I'm sorry. looking at.
I still don't see one up there.
I was trying to get the James Patrick thing.
Okay, now it's up there. Jay Bearball and Hextall each get 10-minute misconducts. All right, now 90 seconds left now on the Ryan Flynn penalty, and he got a cross check. Here's Van de Velde playing it back. Now to LaPointe. And Miller. Van de Velde. Here's LaPointe. And Patterson makes the stop there. Well, we'll go back to the first period. Chris Van de Velde on a rebound goal. Duncan off the tip of the glove on a knuckleball shot. 2-0 after one. Then they mount 3 in the span of about 4 minutes in the second period. Kozak, Gregoire from a face-off, and then Taves. And by the end of the second period, it was 5-0. Miller sets up Duncan here. That's a power play goal. And it's 6-0 on that third period goal by Duncan.
And I watch these in replay. There's not much contesting, is there? A lot of guys are pretty free to whip that puck. I was thinking of James Patrick, Frank. He's the only Sioux defensive lead the team in scoring in the year. Got a couple of guys to chant. Getaway right here.
He was an 80s player, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
But James Patrick played with the Rangers, I believe. I remember him.
You know, you mentioned the replays that we just saw here. If I go back to a stat that just drilled into my brain from last night, first period, 40 attempted shots by North Dakota in the first period alone. That's usually a 2-period total. Yeah. You've got to step in front of somebody. I mean, you got to keep somebody from shooting 40 times in a period. Yeah, and that means body contact, and they weren't doing it.
Yeah, you got to get in their face once in a while. 83 shots total attempted by the Sioux last night. Some Gophers have to show up. Oh, here we go. Lucia's got to go here.
Zach Jones gets wrestled down, I think. And now here's Malone and Lucia, and we're really going to get a brawl going here as Shaq is duking it out pretty good with Matt Fratton. Someone has finally converged on Lucia, and Jones wants to break free, but the linesman won't let him go. Lucia is grabbed by Malone. And now here's Shaq throwing a couple of right-hand roundhouses.
Lucia was involved early right off the top. That's who they wanted.
They have most of the combatants separated. And Zach Jones getting an escort directly to the bench.
I don't know how long he's going to... he may end up with a suspension. You can't push the referee around. That's not part of the process here, young fella.
And I don't know what started. The first thing I saw was Zach Jones, what I thought was taking his own helmet off. Now, I don't know if that's actually what happened when his helmet was off. And now John goes between the boxes. Brian Shack across the scorer's table. And they're giving it back just as good on the other side. Now the referees are stepping in. I haven't quite seen that. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Let's take a look at that face-off, and this is where it started. Jones on the right there. There's Lucio. Jones, he never got touched by Lucia. He just wanted to go.
I mean, maybe earlier.
That's very representative Kozak from last year at Mariucci Arena.
Well, I'll also tell you that he doesn't line up there. That's not his regular spot. He's supposed to line up as a defenseman, not he lined up as a winger. So he knew what he was going to do before it started. His predetermined lineup, Frank, indicates, I mean, obviously he can follow it too once he drops his glove, but it's premeditated. And you move up, and that should be a league decision as to why is a player out of position and drops his gloves.
Well, we had some Kozak stuff here at Brent Forks last year, and this is what happened at the Kozak incident here at the Ralph, right from a face-off, just wanted raw meat. And then we shift over to Mariucci Arena, where it got rough during the game after a hit. I think it started with an R.J. Anderson hit, and then during the handshake after that game, it ensued. That's Blake Wheeler, 17 for Minnesota.
You could find a number.
Do you remember John Hill's words last night at about 7:32 when we started this weekend. He said, sportsmanship, forget it. We throw it out the door in this series.
There's no way these guys are going to be able to figure this one out without a video replay.
And I will mention this, Doug, because it happened in full view of us as we were doing our pregame interviews last night. Not that it's a major incident, but an indication. John Hill, Dave Hacksaw were in the same general vicinity, basically our camera position downstairs, and walked by one another, and the ice formed immediately. There was not even a look between the two of them.
But this all begins because somebody's lining up. Now, I shouldn't say all begins, because it could have been some lip jacking, could have been some things happening, but it didn't happen prior to that face-off. So when you move in and you take a position that you're not.
Here's the lineup, Doug. We'll take a look at it.
Sixes or defenseman. Now, he could be there, but not likely. When you're ahead by 6 goals, he's back at the point position. Winger's up there.
And credit to the linesman for just jumping in there.
See, you could say that he's up there and you're going to move it to the winger. Winger's going to take it in the zone, but not when you're up by 6 and you're playing your extra guys.
Lucia finally to the box. 3 North Dakota players in there, 4 for the Golden Gophers. Best we can tell right now, Dave Hacksaw still with his hands in his pocket.
You know, unfortunately for the fans, there is no North Dakota at Mariucci this year.
No.
And the more teams you add to the league, the less opportunities you have for these rivalries to continue. You have to have Minnesota playing North Dakota. You have to have Wisconsin playing Minnesota. You need Colorado playing Denver.
Most of the roaring you hear is from the fans, and they're reacting to the scoreboard. We told you about John Hill's comments at about 7:32 last night. Here's exactly what he had to say.
It's very intense. It's very physical. There's tremendous passion. They don't like the University of Minnesota, and we don't like the University of North Dakota. And there's no sense in trying to say that it's sportsmanship. You can throw that out the window. It's going to be physical, and it's going to be fast-paced, and you're going to have to dig in. And there's a lot of emotion. You can feel the emotion from their coaches on their bench, and you can feel it from our coaching staff as well. I mean, it is, we want to get on a bus Saturday night, and we want to know that we've gone up there and we've accomplished our goals. And they want to make sure that they play us tough. And it's tremendous. I mean, there is a different feel to it. And then you throw in Ingolstadt Arena and just the passion and the environment that the fans bring and their students. It's electric, and it's something that you look forward to. And I know that Don told the guys today, I mean, it is for men only, and it is. And we want to go up there and we want to be aggressive. We want to skate hard. We want to play the body. We want to be physical. We want to be the ones not to try to match the intensity, but we want to set the intensity.
Frank, I'd like to be the guy that asks all the questions why Zach Jones lined up in that particular position. Let him talk about it. I hope that's a question that's asked in the press conference.
I agree.
Just lay it out there and see what he has to say. I think
the tendency here has been to announce all penalties, to do the dance and the celebration and do all the things while it's quiet in the building, and then they will announce the penalties probably after they drop the puck. And I think at this juncture, we probably need to bring that to you. Just given our physical setup here, we're not going to be able to pass on all the penalties to you. And there are going to be a bunch, and there may be some significant ones in terms of who's going to be allowed to play next weekend because of disqualifications handed out tonight, if any. But Shack and Fratton, you saw in our video already, they have left the rink. Shack from Minnesota, Fratton. And they are enjoying their weekend here.
Well, if they had 2 and 10, they're gone, unless it's an overtime situation, right? So basically, they're out.
Yeah, that's right.
They're out of playing time.
So to assume that they've been disqualified is not fair because of time remaining across the line. You're right.
We'll be able to see that.
But there were punches thrown. I mean, there were punches thrown down there.
I don't know. I could. Your monitor was right in my way.
You're rolling your eyes, Doug. You're right. Yeah, punches thrown, but so what?
Well, I don't think Fratlin, he hardly got a chance. He was being ragdolled.
Right now, as it stands, the Gophers will get a power play in 30 seconds. We can't tell you why.
Because of the war, because of Zach was the aggressor there.
All right. Well,
started the war.
That's a fair assumption, but it might be, again, the first hit after the whistle is a thundering check by Kozak.
Wearing his stick pretty high.
Yeah, yes. And now here's Carmen. And the player that was hit was Nessus. Carmen winds and fires on a hot glove catch by Eidsness. And now with every whistle.
Well, Kozak is asking for, he's pointing to the scoreboard. He's having a little bit of fun. Somebody might want to tap him on the shoulder.
I think somebody just got thrown out, Doug. Because Greg Shepard blew the whistle and pointed to a player and pointed to the tunnel.
That's Kozak. He just got the 2-minute minor.
Well, who's he pointing to the bench about? Maybe I shouldn't read so much about the pointing. You're right. Kozak's going to get the minor. So there'll be, in 3 seconds, there will be a potential 90 seconds of two-man advantage for the Gophers. My earphones are vibrating. I don't know if your speakers at home are vibrating, but my earphones are vibrating.
All the way down.
Hand?
Yeah, hand pass, Minnesota stoppage of play in the offensive zone. Well, Frank, 5-on-3, here it is. You're going to tighten her up, the belt a little bit. This is where it's got to happen.
Yeah, one phrase we haven't said and haven't had a chance to say, we've got plenty of chances to talk, a test of metal.
Yeah, that's one of your favorites.
And here is it?
Well, I heard it from you. I don't know what it means. No, I like it.
Thrown down the rink. 9.5 to go in the third. And the Gophers looking for their first goal of the game. Schrader gets it into the zone. Duncan gets it out. And Hofel just now realizes that the puck's out at center, and he darts to center. Slowed up at center ice. Here's Fairchild. Long pass to the line by Hofel. A good catch. He's trying to dance around LaPointe. Whips it in front. Here's Carmen on a backhand. Eidsness makes the save. Believe it or not, they are just now announcing those penalties. Apparently they had too much to do.
Well, that was yesterday's penalties are going over now.
10-minute misconduct. Also to Minnesota's number 12, Tony Lucia. A 4-minute double minor roughing. And to the Fighting Sioux's number 6, Zach Jones. A 2-minute minor unsportsmanlike conduct and a 10-minute misconduct. To the Fighting Sioux's number 21, Matt Bratton. A 4-minute double minor for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct. And to the Fighting Sioux's number 22, Brad Malone. A 4-minute double minor roughing. Time of the penalties, 9 minutes, 41 seconds of the third period. Flynn of Minnesota, 4-minute double minor
pretty good power
roughing.
play as they're going to re-announce him now, Doug. Pretty good power play, good puck movement. Here's Schrader throwing it back. Fairchild down low for Schrader. 8 minutes left in regulation. 5 on the power play. You'll hear a roar pretty quick if the Gophers don't bury it. Here's Flynn in the corner. That last penalty is over, but they score! And just as it expires. And that breaks the shutout bid and breaks, I think, a lot of tension. Well, some of the tension, anyway, that's been building up here.
When a goose has been shot, Frank, and that's not so bad if you're a Gopher.
12:10 is the time.
Passed by Flynn.
Fairchild.
Yeah, Fairchild makes the left-handed. He had about 3 chances in that little sortie there.
4th of the season for sophomore defenseman Kate Fairchild. And it's a 6-1 game with 7.5 to go. Chris Vandevelde to throw it in. Martins. Sacchetti gets a piece of it. And now Hansen with Ness, 2 men to the line. And Finley wraps up Hansen. And they'll have to chase back for this loose puck. And it will be, however, icing with 7:13 to go. We have Fairchild from Flynn and Schrader.
Schrader, he just keeps getting points. So sometimes it's amazing. He gets in those power play points. Assist here and assist there. Not a lot of goals yet, but when you're carrying the puck, it's a little bit harder.
Joe Miller behind the net doing a little forechecking for Minnesota. Now it's back at center and then dumped in. Jay Genoway.
Jay Genoway is a tough guy because he can skate, he can stop, he changed direction of the play. Right there, he'll sneak out.
And misses Watkins on the pass. Patterson plays it. And this is Weirs.
So no forecheck deal by the Sioux that time.
Larson's long shot steered away by Eidsness. Didn't quite clear the glass. Now to the line for Weirs, but it was tipped. And a takeaway at center and brought in by Zajac. He centers it. Nice coverage by Lofquist. Tied up Watkins' stick. A centering pass is deflected by Weirs. Watkins to Miller and out of Zajac. Taves centers and hands it away. And Boostrom gets rid of it. Long pass by Miller, misfires, and here's Fairchild. And now Hopeful at the line, turned aside by Miller. 3 North Dakota players to the Minnesota line, and that's broken up by Fairchild. Apparently out of the zone and back in maybe, and it's offside. 5:50 to go in the 3rd period. North Dakota 6, Minnesota 1.
Minnesota trying to pick up another one before it ends here.
Hey, shots are even.
I know what I was going to say. I'm going to say now.
They're 10-3 in favor of Minnesota in this period. 23 apiece until this one. Tonight at 10, following our post-game show, join us for a special presentation of Spotlight, a tribute to Carl Pohlad. We'll honor the life and legacy of the man who helped bring 2 World Series championships to Minnesota. Twins greats Kent Herbeck, Tom Kelly, Ron Gardenhire, and many more will pay tribute. Spotlight, a tribute to Carl Pohlad tonight at 10, following our post-game show. Vandevelde wins the draw. Finley fires a shot. That gets blocked. And now as they reach for a loose puck, Kozak in the corner. He took a punishing hit, and it comes loose now to Ryan Flynn. 4-on-2, the Gophers to the line. He tried to flip it past Genoway, trailing the play. Fairchild, and he got railroaded from behind by Kozak, and is slow in getting up. Kozak came from 100 miles to throw that check, and now a whistle. They finally blow the whistle for the injured Cade Fairchild.
Kozak got a couple of licks in that shift besides the one he put on here.
If I'm reading him right, Doug, he's saying I'm winded.
Well, he shouldn't spend that kind of time on the rink if he's just winded. We have a higher code than that.
Well, I mean, like, couldn't breathe. Winded is what I meant.
Hey, maybe needs to.
That painful kind of winded.
Okay. Yeah, we'll credit Kozak. I mean, he doesn't stop. They're up by 4 and 5, and he's banging guys and running guys and playing with a fire.
There has been no shortage of that on the North Dakota bench.
I really would like to know why number 6, Zach Jones, lined up where he did and why he did what he did.
A lone chance in front. Patterson makes a great save, and then Lofquist goes over top of Zajac and still played the puck. Brought in by Weirs and Sacchetti.
Minnesota, Frank, one of their problems is you saw number 2 come in there. Weirs, he was flat. All of his guys he had a chance to pass to were the same line of depth on the rush. And it gets to be a problem. One's got to be ahead, one's got to be back. You can't have everybody at the same line.
Here's Sacchetti. And Zajac gets it out of the zone. Ness. Sacchetti. Winds and fires and broke his stick. Now to center ice. Taves looking for Duncan.
That's what I mean. Duncan went ahead. He was in front, so when he chipped the puck, he was pushed ahead. It wasn't on a straight line. That's why they're effective going to the net.
Hits the netting and leaves the rink. And we will take a break. Vandevelde and Duncan celebrated goals in the first period. Kozak, Gregoire, and Taves celebrating 3 goals quickly in the second. Duncan on the power play and answered only by Minnesota's power play goal by Fairchild. 6-1. 3:40 to go in this one. Vandevelde after it. Kozak. 6-1 tonight. 6-3 last night. A 12-4 goal differential. That's 8. There'll be a penalty coming up here. The greatest differential in a Fighting Sioux sweep over Minnesota in Grand Forks is 9. Back in 96, I believe.
Yeah, that wasn't much fun.
You remember the weekend, do you? Oh. Tattooed to your brain? Yeah, February 2nd and 3rd, an 8-1 loss on the first night, but hey, came back the second night. Lost by only 7-5.
There are no moral victories in this league. Oh, Kozak.
Hooking.
Got,
thank you.
Got the Hofer going through neutral zone.
Here's Hofer behind the net. Gofers 1 for 3 on the power play. 4 shots. Here's Schrader. Carmen to Schrader. Carmen again. It's Hopeful and White in front of the net. Eidsness makes the save on the Fairchild shot. White had a piece of it, but couldn't keep it in the zone. Zajac with the takeaway into Watkins, and he's hooked. He shoots, and Patterson turns out to make a great save.
There's a microcosm of the week. White did not take Zajac. He just let him walk in. Eventually got the penetration. You watch it for yourself. Got to play D. Little soft effort here.
And he'll get a penalty.
Well, actually, White was not the only guy there. It was Fairchild who also was reaching in.
Oh, sorry about that.
Both guys, though, they were both trailing.
4-on-4 for another minute 5. And Finley back to get it. Joe Miller chasing him. R.J. Anderson breaking in for the puck. Coming up about 2 minutes left. And icing here. Our Abra hits of the game. 1-on-1, that looked good to me. Some of these folks who will find out, I think, not quite legal. There'll be a penalty out of that one, I think. There's a hit. A little bit away from the puck there. Larson going. And then there was this big melee. Contested.
Seemed like it was only like 5% of what took place today.
Vandevelde throws it in front of the net. Lofquist has lost his stick. They'll pick it up and join the play. Weirs brings it in the zone down to 1:40 to go. We're still 4-on-4 here. Kozak will be out in 20 seconds. And now Larson. The wave starts here, which I'm convinced now means that they're bored. And Vandevelde ahead to center ice. Trupp and Hansen meets him. Patterson plays it away, and now Weirs. And the band already celebrating the sweep. As that penalty to Kozak is over, he tried to break in for that puck going ahead for it. And now just 35 left on the Fairchild penalty. And you'll hear a roar in a couple of seconds. Back out to center. So with this weekend, and now a player knocked down at center ice as Kozak tries to dance and get a shot off, and finally he's pushed down to the ice by Flynn. Zajac off the boards. It's centered. Watkins' shot gets blocked. Kudos to Kent Patterson. He's coming in a tough spot. Now, granted, he didn't meet the full force of the North Dakota offense, but he's held his ground.
Yeah, he's getting in the college game last night, tonight, doing the best he can, doing well.
LaPointe to play it in. Anderson. 10 away from the North Dakota sweep. Finley laying it across. The blast, and Patterson knocks it down. There's a rebound scramble. Flynn gets rid of it. Game over, weekend over. And our eyes are all on the ice right now, folks. Congratulations for Eidsness at the other end. Gophers are lining up like the officials will allow a handshake here. And our Dodge player of the game, Ryan Duncan, with 2 goals tonight, never took a shift off. Great leader. Conversation between John Hill and Dave Hackstall. A little finger pointing going on, but it seems to be cordial, and it certainly is longer than the one that they could have had last night and walked by one another. All right.
Maybe this is indicative. It's not a straight line, Frank. It's a crooked.
Yeah, it's an S-curve out there.
Yeah, that might mean something. It's a spinal.
Now we're about halfway through the handshake. Some of it rather heartfelt.
Kozak over to the referee. Shepard shook his hand, but that was interesting.
And, well, a little bit of a hug there even between Schrader and Duncan. And that will be it. All right, for much more on this game and a preview of Quest Gophers Live. Back to our Fox Sports North studios. Here's Kevin Gord.
Thanks very much, guys. A disappointing weekend for the Golden Gophers, swept in Grand Forks. Coming up on Quest Gophers Live, the Gophers defenseless. Coach Hill reacts, highlights, statistics, and we take your text questions. It's Quest Gophers Live. It's coming up and coming at you next.
Fox Sports North Gophers coverage continues. Quest Gophers Live starts now.
Vandeveldy and the Fighting Sioux have the first goal of the game at 1:38. Anyway, glove stop, no, a goal! And they plow into Kangas, but they have a 2-0 lead. Here's Kozak, scores! Tough puck there for Kozak, right in front for Tripp, and a goal! David takes!
2-0 after 1, 5-0 after 2. It finishes 6-1 North Dakota. They sweep the Golden Gophers. Welcome to Quest Gophers Live, the post-game edition inside the Fox Sports North studios here in downtown Minneapolis with Darby Hendrickson. I'm Kevin Gorg. And Darby, we looked for the Gophers to improve on a couple of areas from last night's game. Number 1, intensity. Number 2, turnovers. It just didn't happen for the Golden Gophers.
I think when you look at the Gophers coming in this weekend, there's no way you would predict this outcome. The Gophers have had a good year overall. Obviously, they come off, their Dodge Holiday Classic. Probably not the caliber of teams against North Dakota, but North Dakota was jacked up. I mean, from the opening night to tonight, created a lot of turnovers on the Gophers. The Gophers just were not able to respond, but It was the theme all night, Kevin. Here was plays where they made plays. Great shot. It was a great shot by Kozak, and they were opportunistic. But they had an energy level. They had a work effort, but the Gophers were not able to respond. It was a challenge for them, and it seemed to get worse. The Gophers could never get a handle on slowing it down and changing that momentum. Certainly the Sioux riding off their fans, but never could get back in it. Tough weekend for Alex Kangas to come back. But the question was, how would the Gophers respond tonight? And didn't change much. The Sioux had the same energy and were able to generate the same amount of scoring chances, the same opportunities, and capitalize on them.
As we continue on the Toyota post-game wrap, we're going to go back to Grand Forks, the guys that brought us the game, Frank Mazzocco and Doug Woog. And guys, a recap of the debacle in Grand Forks, if you would.
There's a good word. Fans' perspective first, then the expert, all right? You have a Gopher team that basically didn't show up last night. That was pretty much unanimous agreement. They lose 6-3. Showed up tonight, but did not have enough. Lose 6-1. As a fan, you're wondering going forward, what do we have? What do we have left to build on? This is, for a fan, this could be quite a demoralizing weekend. How about on the ice and the players?
Well, I think the telltale sign was how many saves did Ignis have to make? You know, he made 23 tonight, maybe 20 yesterday, but how many challenging saves did? And you look at our goaltenders, and they were challenged and they were taxed, and that's over 120 minutes. And that's the true test. If you look at who had puck possession, who was the physical, who had the best shots, you know, it was all Nodak. And, you know, as you look down the line, Minnesota's going to have to get healthy. The defense, the power play looks a little bit limpy. Got some guys that got to start doing some things team-wise. They got to work a little bit more together. I mean, it's going to take some adjustment. I wouldn't look for a real quick cure right here, right now, especially with some of the guys going down. It's going to be a challenge to try to put it back together.
And it'll be a tough challenge. They're going to have St. Cloud State, a team that has been red hot of late next weekend, to make it all the more difficult. Guys, back to you.
Thanks very much, guys. Well, Darby, the point was just made by those two gentlemen. It doesn't get any easier. You're going to be right back into WCHA competition. And my big question for you, a guy that's been in the locker room at the University of Minnesota and also at the professional level, when a team loses the type of confidence they lost from getting blown out by an arch rival, how far does it set you back mentally getting ready for that next series?
You know, it's a test. It's a test for every team. Every team, you know, different personalities. Certainly tonight you miss Stowe, you miss Fisher back there. But reality is you got to show up with the group you have tonight. But it's one of those things. I know as a player, certainly on the coaching, and you know, you dwell on it all week, meetings after meetings. That doesn't necessarily help. But it takes, you know, you got a short week to get ready for St. Cloud, and every team is so jacked to play the Gophers. But it's very simple. You got to go back to work and practice, and just work back, getting back at basics. And negativity does not help you. As bad as the weekend went for them, you get negative, it goes really the wrong way. So somehow you still got to pull together. You still have to try and have a good week, because trust me, St. Cloud will show up and be ready. And this is a good league. It's competitive, and weekend after weekend. You saw how excited North Dakota was. I guarantee you St. Cloud will be ready next weekend as well.
Well, an awful lot of question marks surrounding the Gopher hockey team. When we come back here on Quest Gophers Live, we'll hear from the head coach this weekend, John Hill, what happened to the Golden Gophers swept in Grand Forks.